Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. This is the 7th annual State of the Town meeting, so thank you all for coming out on this 65-degree well, that's right, my fault. My name is Jeff Matthews. I'm the Vice President of the Town Council. I would also like to recognize the other members of the council here this morning. Gary Raikes, Council President for 2017. Eileen Fisher, Jason Delisle, and David Lindsey, who served as Council President 2015 and 2016. Also with us this morning is our Clerk Treasurer, Monty Combs. Is he here? There he is. Hi, Monty. Norm Berry, our Wastewater Superintendent. Steve Hurst, our Water Superintendent. Leanne Sewell, our Parks Programming Director. Police Chief Jim Campbell, and our Fire Chief Bob Fishburne. Wendell Walters is under the weather this morning, so I know he's here in spirit. At this time, please stand and join me for the presentation of colors by our Police and Fire Department Color Guard.
Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning and welcome. Would you join me now in the invocation in an attitude of prayer? A gracious and loving God, we give you thanks, even if we got cold weather. We're grateful for these who could be here today, and we're grateful for your love and care for all of us. We thank you for the town of Speedway, for all the public servants who serve in any way. We ask that you bless them, guide them, give them your wisdom to make this town even better than it already is. We ask your blessing upon our servants on the street. May you keep them safe as well and restore them to their families at the end of their watch. We thank you for the blessings of this motor speedway, for the generosity of the track and its Holman George family allowing us to utilize this facility as we do. Continue to be with us, guide us throughout the year, protect us in all ways, and we give you thanks and praise in the name of the Holy One, our Heavenly Father. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the State of the Town. My name's Mike Watts. I'm doing a little bit of an ad lib thing this morning, but welcome. And we really appreciate this overwhelming attendance. Little story about how I got back to Speedway. I raised my family, 2 daughters in Westfield, Indiana, and my mom got very ill, and she asked me to have my sons graduate. I had twin sons that graduated from Speedway High School, and she asked me during her illness if I would move Riley and Anthony back to Speedway and have them graduate spark plugs. And I said, absolutely. And 8 years ago, I made the move. I haven't looked back. I love the community. And I'm here representing the Speedway Lions Club. We're an organization that's international, and our motto is we serve. And again this morning, like I said last year, we're serving water to our group this morning, so enjoy. And I know y'all get a lot out of this morning's presentations. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the next presenter, and that's Alex Damron, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Director of Public Relations. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. How's it going? So that's a good welcome, actually, for this early in the morning. Usually everybody just stares back at you. So first of all, I apologize. I'm pinch hitting for Speedway President Doug Bowles today, which is sort of like putting in the third-string quarterback. But I am really happy to be here with all of you. We, of course, love being a part of the town of Speedway. This weather over the last few days, man, I kept looking over to see if Doug was in his office because I wanted to sneak out and go over to SIK. Or see if Foyt would open early for me. But we simply love being a part of the town of Speedway and being so close to Main Street. So you know my job as Director of PR is to do more than sell tickets. It's to sell everything that is great about IMS and the town of Speedway. And my favorite thing to do is bring a reporter in from New York City, take them in a race car, which is cool, right? How many people have done that? Maybe? All right, we'll figure it out. Yeah, there's a hand. But afterwards, blow them away by just literally walking them down the street in some good weather and hanging out on Main Street. So, you know, one more question for the audience. Who was here for the 100th running? And who's coming back for number 101? Well, my job's done. That is some really good news. But honestly, that is the reaction we're getting everywhere. Last year we saw a lot of fans come back who hadn't been to the race for a number of years, and even some first-time fans. And the way we feel about it is, and the way we felt at the time, was if we could deliver an exceptional experience, if we could make the 100th running everything that it was supposed to be, they would all come back with fans who, of course, have been coming for a number of years, and make the 101st running again so special. So ticket sales are really fantastic, and we're really excited about that, and we're thankful for that. And we think number 101 is going to be great. We, of course, began our countdown 101 days from the 101st running of the Indy 500 just a week and a half ago. I still have whiplash from all the excitement of that day. We unveiled our brand new ticket with Alexander Rossi, our fantastic 100th running champion. He'll be doing a number of events throughout the community, throughout the countdown to the 101st running, and I encourage you to come out and get to know him better. But we also had a fan party right here in the pavilion. 2,000 fans, Connor Daly, Alex Rossi, Joseph Newgarden, Ed Carpenter, a lot of folks out to celebrate, and it was fantastic. And we're going to kind of work with that countdown concept as we continue toward the 101st running. Lots of exciting events. They do take some time to plan, so I'll probably lose a lot more of this as we work our way toward that. But one I wanted to just give a quick shout out to and let you guys know about is we're going to be delivering 101 milk bottles. So that's a milk bottle every day until we get to the 101st running. We've got a lot of great folks lined up to receive them. But if you know of a super fan in the town of Speedway or a local business that's especially deserving of one, please get in contact with IMS or simply reach out directly to me. We really want to get those out in the community and make sure the town of Speedway is a part of that. A couple other updates, obviously. Legends Day talent is announced, and so is our, I don't know how many folks go to the Snake Pit here, but that talent is also announced. We'll be following up with a Carb Day announcement soon. We really think the weekend is setting up to be extremely exciting, and as we move toward April and May, we're also going to be doing a lot more operational communications, again, to make sure folks know which streets to use, which businesses are open after the race, and how to have the best day possible as they come out for the 101st running. So I'll wrap up with this. Thank you so much for supporting the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We are so happy to be a part of and to support the town of Speedway. And hopefully Doug will be here next year for this, but if not, I'm fine to pinch it again. Thanks, folks.
Thank you, Alex. That was a great way of pinch hitting. You did a great job. Don't sell yourself short there, pal. I am certainly excited for the month of May and all the events that happen at IMS this year, so thank you for all your hard work. You can't talk about how great the town is without talking about its schools, and you can ask anyone that lives here and with kids or without, and you can say, what's the one great thing about Speedway, and it's its schools. So help me welcome Mr. Hull, who has agreed to shorten his 2-hour presentation down this morning for us. So, Mr. Hull, thanks.
Those who know me know that I can talk for 2 hours easily, and also they know that when you've got the subject matter I do, it's easy to be factual for 2 hours. I will cut things down. The students attending Speedway schools continue to earn recognition for their exceptional levels of outstanding achievement collectively. Standardized test scores on even more challenging tests continue to confirm that our students are learning and growing throughout each year. Levels of improvement and achievement, that's what it's about with kids, result in all of our elementary schools and our junior high school being rated as superior by the state of Indiana. The simple way to say it, A schools. Speedway is the only A school corporation in Marion County and one of only 23 in the state. And a big part of that is Speedway High School, which continues to be recognized among the best high schools in the nation and in the state by none other than U.S. News and World Report. That high school has graduated, on average, over the last 6 years, 98% of its students, but the story's bigger than that. Over 40% of those graduates, because of our partnership with the College Board, the people who write and produce the SAT, over 40% of our students are now graduating with transferable, across 97% of the colleges and universities in the country, transferable, transportable, if you will, college credit on their high school transcript. This results in our students, in some cases, having 12 to 25% of their college tuition essentially paid. Our parents love that. It is not unusual for us to graduate a group of seniors, some of these wonderful kids you saw here today, or who will, when they graduate, to have at least a semester of college done, and in some cases, a year of college credit completed when they walk across the stage for their high school commencement. In addition, we have students who are exiting high school with certifications and college credit at Ivy Tech, because we believe our students need to be college and career ready. And quite frankly, our business partners, specifically Allison, Praxair, Coca-Cola, are looking for Speedway graduates to join the world of work very quickly with great paying jobs. Probably the best illustration, excuse me, of this happened very unexpectedly last year. It's a little place up in West Lafayette called Purdue University. And for years, not Purdue University, for years, Purdue, in their 7 schools of science, have recognized one graduating senior in each of their areas. Something very unusual happened this year when 2 from Purdue University, national, 2 high school or 2 of their college graduates, the outstanding student in physics, young man named Sam Higginbotham, and their outstanding student in biology, a young man named Patrick Tiffany, looked at each other and said, gee, we were both members of the class of 2012 of Speedway High School. I'm not aware of that ever happening before. That's tremendous. Sam's at MIT, Patrick's down in med school over at IU, so they're doing okay. We're just so proud of what the students continue to do and how they continue to do it. And ask those students, ask their parents. They're a product of great elementary schools, phenomenal junior high school, probably the only junior high school where you don't want to send the kids away. Just great kids. But I think the best part of this for me, because I'm the superintendent and finance is my responsibility, is Speedway does this very simply. 71% of every dollar brought in to educate these children is directed to the classroom. That means that we have the smallest class sizes in the smallest neighborhood schools served by exceptional teachers. In fact, I can tell you in the day of a teacher shortage, when Speedway advertises for a teacher, there is no shortage of applicants. People want to come to this environment. They want to work in our conditions. That means we get great teachers. And you don't have those kind of results without great teachers. It certainly isn't because of the superintendent. But I'll also tell you that even with the wonderful referendum, when the people of Speedway, when the businesses of Speedway said, we'll support you with additional property taxes, even with that referendum tax rate, Speedway Schools still has the lowest property tax rate in Marion County. Now that's great if you're a homeowner, but let me tell you, that also makes us a great partner for other units of local government, because our extremely low tax rate allows for other units of government to be able to have an adequate and proper tax rate without hitting property tax caps. So in a very, very real way, the cooperation of doing things efficiently and doing them with a purpose and doing them cooperatively, because our school budget goes to our town. Our school budget's looked at in terms of other budgets and other departments. When we cooperate, when we work together, I think we provide the absolute very best in services for the best value. And that really is why we in Speedway Schools have to say, being part of a town may be our biggest advantage. Because we're a part of a town government. Our children realize the safest environment possible because they're served by their local police department and fire department. Our children are absolutely never more than 2 minutes away from a good guy, a policeman or a fireman, and oftentimes less than 60 seconds away. Our kids just don't have to be in fear. Our utilities operate without interruption. If there's a water main break, the guys down at the department find a way to divert things through, and we can open up school, and we believe in opening up school every day. Our pathways there are always clear and plowed, our sidewalks are maintained and illuminated, and our kids enjoy another great benefit. When we're closed, we're there 8 to 4. Just down the street, they have the greatest local public library with media specialists who are there to serve them till 8 p.m. at night, and more than once, our kids are getting great assistance at 7 o'clock at night. Parents know, 7 o'clock, go to the library, they can help. And our students participate in a phenomenal recreation program where they can be involved in everything from arts and crafts to tennis to basketball. And the one thing you know about that is it's a supervised, safe activity. So our students who go to Speedway High School come to Speedway High School ready, able, and safe. And we're so, so thankful of being the benefactors of having town government and town services. There's also another side of the story. Today, when I'm done today, I'm going to run back over and see if I can't serve a few chocolate chip pancakes for the Lions Club. But that's because the Lions Club's over in the high school cafeteria. They've been working since 4 o'clock last night, and they're going to raise money. And you know where that money's going to go? Right back to Speedway schools and kids and scholarships. So I'm proud to be a Lion and proud to be helping with that. The Area Chamber of Commerce and every business associated with this town somewhere has a t-shirt out there on a kid's back that has their name on it, where they've sponsored something like the Plug Run, or the Plug History that we do, or the Reality Store. Our businesses do so much to support us. And frankly, when it comes to May, which by the way, help me out on one political thing, there's some kind of legislation out there that says, gee, we don't want to let school go until the first day of September because we want to make sure there's plenty of kids to work in our state parks and people there. And I'm pointing out on the other side of that, why don't you just let us go in August so we can be out earlier in May so that we can have this little thing called the 500, the biggest economic engine in the state. So let us choose in Speedway when we start and finish. Don't tell us that we need to do something else. We really need support on that. I know our Senator Mike Young is doing a great job and Representative Carly Macer, but please, let us be Speedway. This, above all else, do no harm. Our student success doesn't occur in the isolation of 4 small neighborhood schools. It occurs in a large, supportive, wonderful town called Speedway. Thank you for letting us be a part.
Thank you, Ken. We appreciate it. We appreciate the schools and the school board also, by the way. I'd like to bring up Dave Lindsey to talk about the state of the town. Please, Dave.
Well, I'll start off by saying, as everyone knows, I do not give 2-hour speeches. I think everyone knows that. Today will be no exception. Before we start, Michelle, where'd she go? Michelle Leidy, our executive assistant, she was the behind-the-door person that put all this together today. Kudos to her for doing a wonderful job. Thank you, Michelle. She has been getting a lot of phone calls, email, although I think since I'm not president, they've stopped a little bit. So, yeah, just a little bit. So, again, Michelle, thank you very much. As everyone knows, I had the privilege of serving as the president of the town council both in 2015 and 16. I worked alongside my fellow councilors, Jeff Matthews, Gary Raikes, Jason Delisle, and Eileen Fisher. But before I start, I'd like to also recognize Andy Harris. Andy, there you go in the back. Our Wayne Township Wayne Township trustee, who's here with us this morning. I'd also like to welcome Janice McHenry from the City County Council. Janice has been a very great partner and a very strong advocate for the town down in the City County building. Thank you very much. Our state representative, Carly Macer, is here with us this morning. Carly also works on behalf of the town and helps ensure that Speedway remains very strong and self-sufficient, and we greatly appreciate that. Thank you, Carly. I'd also like to thank the staff here at the Motor Speedway this morning for allowing us to meet at this great facility. Try and find me another town or city that can have an address at a place like this. It is awesome. Thank you. And what a year the Motor Speedway had. The 100th running of the Indianapolis 500, the IndyCar Grand Prix, the Brickyard 400, the Red Bull Indy Air Race, and numerous other events throughout the year. Plus, who can't forget the lights at the Brickyard? And now the momentum is building for the 101st running of the 500. As everyone knows, our previous town manager, Ian Nicolini, left the town to work for Develop Indy last October. Our loss was definitely a gain for Develop Indy. During the time that Ian was with us, with the town, he did provide great direction in moving Speedway forward, and we are thankful for that. Ian's departure left the council with two important positions to fill, an economic director and the town manager position. Without hesitation, the entire council decided to fill the economic director position first. We knew that with the great department supervisors in place, this would allow us to focus on the continued growth of the town over the day-to-day management. The council and SRC are very close to naming an economic director within the next few weeks. We have met with some very impressive candidates, and I believe we will have the economic director position filled with a very impressive individual. The same can be said about the town manager's position. The council has conducted interviews of several very qualified candidates. We will be announcing Speedway's newest town manager in the very near future. As I look back on 2016 and thought about what I wanted to say this morning, our employees' incredible work sat at the top of that list of highlights and accomplishments. Our employees are what makes Speedway the great town that it is today. They make each of us on the council look great at our jobs and even helped me with my speech today. I asked them to summarize the incredible work their departments have done this past year. So as good as my speech will be, hopefully the credit will go to our department supervisors. And then if it's not that good, blame me for the delivery of the information. Among those great employees and departments is our police department led by Chief Jim Campbell and Assistant Chief Chuck Upchurch. They both worked tirelessly to keep our citizens safe. In 2016, the Speedway Police Department worked hard to maintain its mission of professionalism and community policing in service to our town. Community policing has been the cornerstone of the department's mission statement since 2010. The implementation of the Citizens Academy, the VIP program, and the Student Academy has shown to be one of the most valuable police-community relationships the department could hope to have. 2016 saw a continuation of these programs. The Citizens Academy graduated a 7th class. The VIP program graduated 7 new volunteers, and the Student Academy graduated a 3rd class. All of these support existing police services to our community. The department has no greater partner than that of the community it serves. 2016 also saw the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500, an event that drew a crowd of over 300,000 to our town. The Speedway Police Department, along with other state, local, and federal partners, provided security at the 500 and also for 2 other major racing events throughout 2016. The department also attended and participated in several events held throughout the town in 2016. From events on Main Street to Relay for Life in June to National Night Out in October, officers committed themselves to attending all of these events to ensure the safety of participants and continue to develop a relationship with the citizens of our town. 2016 proved to be a busy year for the department, and 2017 will be no different. The department is again up for accreditation with CALEA, the governing body responsible for the accreditation of the department. They will be making their visit at the end of the year to reassess the department for compliance among the highest international police standards. The department anticipates this process being a fairly smooth and simple one, because of the men and women of the department continue to serve every day with a high level of professionalism and dedication and have held themselves to CALEA's high standards throughout 2016. And speaking of enforcement, a group that is charged with enforcing the standards and ordinances in our town is our code enforcement. They have been working hard to implement the disorderly housing ordinance this past year. Officer Joe Kramer has utilized this ordinance at over 30 different locations within our community. This number does not reflect the property owners who had been contacted and had already started eviction proceedings against those people who were in violation of the ordinance. The disorderly housing ordinance allows for a code enforcement officer to impose fines to occupants of a residence, apartment, dwelling, or business in town if they commit a criminal violation. This ordinance has proven this past year to be a very valuable tool in continuing to make Speedway a safe place to live. This ordinance and its enforcement, along with many other proactive actions of our code enforcement, are being noticed throughout the state. Both Joe Kramer and John Merritt were invited to the Indiana Continuing Legal Education Forum in downtown this past May. Both spoke of the team concept that code enforcement has with the town council and our town's different public safety and utility departments. Since the presentation, Joe and John have been contacted by multiple police departments from around the state seeking assistance and are now following our code enforcement's example of building stronger communities through teamwork, economic development, and code reform and enforcement. Our code enforcement is to be commended for this. Code enforcement took on the challenge of developing recommended updates to the town council's municipal code. This was no small task, considering some of the code was almost 90 years old. While the goal was to make our neighborhoods stronger and safer, it presented an opportunity to update the many antiquated policies. And so now you can play a pinball machine in Speedway. Believe it or not. John Merritt continued in his role as a full-time building commissioner in 2016. John continues to ensure that the growth in town meets the standards the town expects with our redevelopment standards. In 2016, the Speedway Fire Department celebrated 100 years of serving our residents. Our fire chief, Bob Fishburne, and assistant chief, Mike Lynch, renewed a focus on training for the department in 2016. Some of the training received by the department included all chief officers attending a 5-day all hazards incident management team class in Fishers. Our battalion chiefs and assistant chief traveled to New York to attend incident command training hosted by the New York City Fire Department. In partnership with Marathon, the department sent 3 lieutenants to Texas A&M for a week of live fire training. The department hosted a butane emergency training exercise at Marathon with firefighters from Wayne Township, Indianapolis, and Speedway attending the day-long event. Firefighter recruit Dale Hanley received the Central Indiana Academy's Instructor Award. This award is given to the outstanding recruit in their academy class. For the first time in the department's history, the department had a member on deployment with Task Force 1 as they prepared for Hurricane Matthew. The department continued to display their fire safety trailer throughout the year and at grade schools in town during Fire Prevention Week, reaching hundreds of Speedway's school children and families. On top of all this, each shift had a firefighter responsible for commercial fire inspections in 2016. Oh, and the department responded to over 2,700 calls for service in 2016. Our police and fire department are far from the only outstanding department providing an outstanding service to our community. Our street department, led by Street Commissioner Wendell Walters, is constantly working to improve and maintain our streets, sidewalks, and parks in town. Despite the funding challenges that restrict our ability to invest in streets and sidewalks, our street department had another great year of making investments in infrastructure. We resurfaced 22nd Street, Fisher, Allison, and Winton in the area of Allison School. We added 51 ADA-compliant curb ramps in town. The storm drain in the area of 30th and Elaine was improved. They supervised the installation of additional parking spaces on Gilman Street and Allison Way. They oversaw the relocation of the 72-inch sanitary sewer line from Main Street to Allison Way. They oversaw the dry run diversion project, and I'm happy to say that that is in its final stages of completion. Speaking of that project, we feel very confident that as a result that over 238 single-family homes will be removed from a floodplain area. And as a result, these homes will no longer be required to maintain flood insurance. And one other project that Wendell has helped oversee is the sewer lining of the town's sewers in the Chapel Hill and Farley additions. Wendell and our wastewater superintendent, Norm Berry, supervised this very important project, which saw the town's sewer line sealed to prevent unwanted water and other items from infiltrating the system and taxing our water plant. This project lined 41,275 feet, or for those doing the math, 7.8 miles of sewers and 78 manholes in the Farley and Chapel Hill housing additions. The project also began to line sewers in the area of 22nd Street, Winton, Allison, and Fisher, again in the Allison school area. 4,800 feet, or about a mile of sewer was lined, and 26 manholes were lined in 2016. Before this work was completed in Chapel Hill, the town's Chapel Hill lift station would overflow often during moderate rain events due to excessive infiltration into the collection system. Since the completion of this project, there have been no overflows. At a cost of $1.342 million, this project came in at $650,000 less than our engineers' estimates. And speaking of sewers, our wastewater department, under the leadership of Norm, has continued to maintain a fantastic record at our wastewater plant. In 2016, Norm and his crew were once again in full compliance with all federal and state regulations and the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit. It takes a lot of effort on many fronts to be in compliance 365 days a year. And another of our departments who continue to meet the challenge of providing clean water to our town is our water department and Steve Hurst, our water superintendent. Steve and his team continue to meet or exceed the required regulatory drinking water parameters throughout 2016. And another department in town that continues to grow and bring exciting programs to our town is our Parks Department. Our Parks Department Director, Leanne Sewell, has been one busy lady in 2016. Leanne and the Parks Board undertook the month-long task of conducting a master plan with pros consulting and context design. This included numerous individual interviews, focus group, direct engagement with parks users, inventory of facilities, mailed and online surveys, all with the goal of figuring out how to make the department best work for anyone using our parks. This project will wrap up soon with a final presentation and submission of the plan to the Indiana Department of Natural Resources in April. The parks get busy when the water gets nice, and summer 2016 was packed with activity. The summer camps program saw a 40% increase in participation from 2015, with 40 new young people participating in sports, arts, and robotics camps. The free summer swim lesson program extended the hours of operation and was able to facilitate lessons for 15% more children than last summer. The Speedway Summer Nights concert series offered its longest running lineup so far, with 12 Thursday night concerts. All this sponsored by business partners of the town. This popular event will be back for its 5th year starting on June 1st, 2017. Speedway Parks closed out the year with the annual Youth Basketball League for both boys and girls in grades 3 through 6. Close to 100 kids participated between the league that ran from October through mid-February. And our town would not be able to operate without our clerk treasurer, Monty Combs, and his staff. Monty has made many improvements in his office. Some of these include utility billings and collections, where more customers are paying online and via auto pay features, saving the town and citizens from fees and man hours. Monty has worked to stabilize our cash flow with our general fund. This has allowed the town to have an 8-month reserve on hand. Monty has also reduced the number of bank accounts, which is making our reconciliations timely moving forward. Because of Monty's great work, the budget created in 2016 for 2017 has enabled us to increase our rainy day fund for any emergency situations, which makes the town financially stronger. Thank you, Monty, for all of your continued hard work. Here in just a couple minutes, you will see a video produced by Bill P. and Brian Pierce from our cable department. This past year, Brian and Bill, along with our cable commission, started a YouTube channel for the town. You can go to YouTube and search for SCTV Town of Speedway. They strongly suggest you subscribe to the channel. On the channel, you will find council meetings, SRC meetings, zoning meetings, and school board meetings. They also post many of the programs they produce throughout the year, highlighting the many great activities and events held in town. Brian and Bill were recognized in 2016 for their excellence as a public education government channel by the Alliance for Community Media. Before we start the video, I'd like to touch on a few of the events and activities which you're about to see. You will see work from businesses that have chosen to make the town of Speedway their new home. You will see businesses that are just beginning to make Speedway their home. The Redevelopment Commission has worked very hard to attract businesses to Speedway. The Rosner Building has been completed. The Speedway Marketplace continues to move along with businesses starting construction. The Wilshaw project at 16th and Main will begin construction in 2017. And I and the council realize the Wilshaw project has caused concern over parking on Main Street. We have heard those concerns, and we will continue to work on improving parking on Main Street in 2017. As you can see, it has been a very busy year. However, I left this last program to speak about at the end because it is one that has been a great positive for the kids in our town. The project is their sister city relationship with Verano, Italy, and Motegi, Japan. This past year, 16 students from Verano visited Speedway. Because of the volunteers led by Scott and Connie Harris and Gary and Lori Raikes, the 16 students and their chaperones were shown some great Hoosier hospitality this past summer. Also, during last fall's school break, 16 8th and 9th graders from Speedway traveled to Motegi, Japan. They stayed with host families in Motegi and also spent time in Tokyo. Also during 2016, the mayor of Motegi, Tatsuya Kaguchi, visited Speedway. Mr. Kaguchi stayed with my family at our house for 3 nights. My wife Casey and I, along with Nancy Lawrence and Bob Hunt, gave Mr. Kaguchi the grand tour of Speedway and the city during his 3-day visit. His visit proved that the relationship between Speedway and Motegi is as strong as it has ever been. I stated last year in my closing remarks that the town of Speedway is strong, but there is still work to be done to ensure that this momentum continues to move us forward together. This still holds true in 2017. I realize that not everyone will agree with decisions which will be made in the coming year, but through dialogue, we can work through issues that arise. However, I believe we can agree that the town of Speedway is a great place to live, work, and play. I strongly believe we all want to continue the recent progress that is moving Speedway forward, creating an even better place to live, work, and play for many, many years to come. Thank you all for taking your time for spending your Saturday morning with us. God bless.
all that in 365 days. How about that? We had a lot going on, didn't we? So, lastly, I want to bring up Gary Raikes, President of the Town Council, to talk about the future of our town. Gary?
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning. Thank you, David, for delivering what I think was a fantastic look back over 2016. And as Jeff said, wow, what a year. 365 days and all that. I want to do something here, and I would ask you to hold your applause. Would the employees of the town of Speedway, whether you're a manager or an employee that serves one of the managers, would you please stand up? Still hold your applause, please. Now, would you please sit down? Now, would the rest of you please stand up and thank them for the work you just saw them accomplish in the last year? You know, last year was so great, we just want to keep talking about it and keep living it. In fact, I lived it so well, I gained 20 pounds last year. I'm serious. I've been trying this winter to lose a little bit, and it's hard. It was a lot easier putting it on, that's for sure. It was a great year for our community. We all know the many accomplishments of last year and the successes we realized. They were the culmination, actually, of about 10 to 20 years of work, depending on who you are and how you participated in the effort over that time. So it reminded me a little bit last year. There were several times as the year was happening, and even since then, where people have said, wow, you guys, what you did in 2016 was amazing. What the town did in 2016 was amazing. And it's true that it seemed that way, that it all happened in 2016. But it reminded me a little bit of my wife's flower gardens. Over the years, she's planted lots of tulips and other types of bulbs, and each year the bulbs would come up a little better and a little better. And last year, for some reason, the right colors, the right bulbs, the right weather, like we've had the last few weeks, not necessarily today, caused her garden, our garden, to just be amazingly beautiful. And for ourselves to step back and look at it and say, that was incredible. It just looks beautiful, and the things that are happening are fantastic. And I look at our town in that analogy and say, that's what happened last year. The rest of the world, the rest of the city of Indianapolis, the rest of the state of Indiana, the eyes of the world as they're watching the events that are happening in this fantastic facility, looked at us and said, wow, what a great year for you. You did all this year. And I look around this room and I think about those that maybe couldn't be here this morning, those that have maybe moved on, those that we've lost. And the contributions they've made in the last 10 and 20 years have allowed us to experience what we did last year. And what we continue to now be the idol of a lot of communities around the town, or around the state, is David shared, whether it be public safety or just other things that we've done in the way we're doing it. So what do we do in 2017 to top that? Well, it's interesting. Yesterday I received an email from Allison Millington, who's Vice President of Events here for the Holman Company. And she talked about what they've been doing to plan for the 2017 Indianapolis 500, the 101st running. And, you know, they've been planning. They've been looking at what they've done. They've done well over their 100-some-year history. And, you know, we were so busy last year, we didn't even take time to celebrate the fact we turned 90 years old as a town. And so I'm not saying we're going to celebrate our 91st birthday this year, but nothing wrong with celebrate. When you're in the 90s, you should certainly celebrate every year. But this great facility hasn't sat still since last May, and our town is not going to sit still going forward. No, we're working hard. As Dave described, we're in the process of finalizing the hiring of a town manager and a redevelopment director. Really going forward, I think it's an appropriate title of economic director. We were redeveloping, and now it's more than that. We're actually building on what we've redeveloped and what we've improved. So as Allison was laying out what the tracks and the Holman Company has been doing, I thought about what we're doing. We're developing a comprehensive plan. In the last 10 to 15 years, we've worked hard in our commercial districts. We needed to work hard in those commercial districts to catch the public's eye, to to catch investors' eyes, to catch not just commercial investors' eyes, but people who want to live, work, and play, as Dave described. So how do we attract the millennials? How do we attract the Gen X, the boomers, the empty nesters, the retirees? Well, we have to have housing that is adequate and even, more than adequate for the future residents of this town and the current residents of this town. And so our comprehensive plan and the work that Housing Committee and other groups are already doing has to focus in that area. Our schools are doing a great job, and they'll continue to do a great job. They are attracting those young families, and we really applaud the work that the school board and Superintendent Hall that was here and spoke earlier, the work they've done. Most of the council went to Speedway, or they've sent, certainly all of us have sent our children to Speedway schools, and we know the value that is there and the benefits that come from that. So we have terrific leadership in our schools, and we need to continue that. But we have tremendous leadership in our town with regard to public works. The different utilities and the streets and the parks and the other things that Dave described in his earlier speech are really on a very positive trend, and we need to continue that. All these things that we're doing require monies. So we're really blessed by that low tax rate that Ken Hall spoke of, and our ability to provide the services with those relatively low tax revenues. But we need to find other revenues. We need to focus on how we can build on the investment that's occurring in our town, both commercial and the future residents that will be investing in our town. So in the coming year, I think another really important part of our comprehensive plan and just the work that we do as individuals should be to focus on inviting leaders, new leaders, existing leaders to branch out and do different things than what they've maybe been involved in. Who do we have living beside us? Who do we have that wants to live beside us? Who works beside us that want to get involved in our community and make it better? For me personally, that's where I'm going to spend a lot of my time, not just as president of the council, but just as a man having grown up in this town, raised his family here, looking to retire here. How can I make this town better? By simply finding other people to come beside myself and other leaders and people just like yourselves that are watching and listening today. How can we engage more people to get them to have the spirit to lead and serve and be a part of this community? That's where I think we need to focus. So I invite you to seek out those people. I invite you to come beside the counselors. If you have questions of counselors or department leaders or other employees of the town, I encourage you to seek them out and find out what it is that you can do to help them and what they can do to help you. Finally, I would encourage all of us to faithfully pray for our town. Pray for church pastors. If we filled every church 5 times on a weekend, we still would only get to about half of our population in our town. And we don't come close to filling churches 5 times. And the work that the churches are doing is tremendous. And so I encourage you to pray for those pastors and lay leaders. I encourage you to pray for the town councilors. We need your prayers and we need your help as we try and do what we think is best for those that live here and work here. I encourage you to also pray for appointed leaders, town employees, volunteers, the businesses and the workers that are in this town, and the residents of this town. I thank all of those that made today's State of the Town possible. This is a successful event, as the previous 6 have been. Thank you to those who already serve in our community. Thank you for those who will serve going forward. We're better because of you. God bless you.